The final quarter. Act 1. The Star Athlete. Let me tell you about Jordan Steele. Jordan was the kind of athlete you only see once in a lifetime. The golden boy of East Ridge High. Quarterback, track star, basketball captain, you name it. Jordan was untouchable. His highlight reels dominated social media, his face plastered across every school banner. Colleges were lining up to recruit him before junior year. But there was something about Jordan that didn't quite add up. Sure, he had the charm, the looks, and the talent, but there was a shadow hanging over him. No one knew where he disappeared to after games, or why he never brought friends home. He kept everyone at arm's length, even his teammates. People assumed he was just focused. "He's got that killer instinct," Coach used to say. But there was something colder than ambition in his eyes, something darker. One Friday night, after a blowout game that secured the championship, Jordan skipped the celebrations. Again. Curious, I followed him, not because I was nosy. Okay, maybe I was. But because something about him didn't sit right with me. He didn't head home. Instead, he drove out to the woods, parking near the old abandoned textile mill. No one went there anymore. It was said to be cursed, though no one could remember why. Jordan disappeared into the shadows. And that's when I saw the flicker of a lantern inside. Act 2. The Discovery. The next morning, the town woke up to shocking news. Kevin Turner, one of the rival team's players, had vanished. He'd been last seen arguing with Jordan after the game. I couldn't shake the memory of Jordan sneaking into the woods, so I decided to investigate. I wasn't brave, but my curiosity was louder than my common sense. I grabbed a flashlight and headed to the mill that night. The place was a ruin, crumbling walls, shattered windows, and an air that seemed to hum with tension. As I stepped inside, I heard muffled voices. One of them was Jordan's. I crouched low, moving closer until I could see the scene. Jordan stood in a circle of glowing symbols, etched into the floor. Candles flickered around him, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Lying on a slab in the center of the circle was Kevin Turner, unconscious but breathing. Jordan muttered something in a language I didn't recognize, his hands trembling as he held an ancient-looking book. Before I could process what I was seeing, Jordan froze. "Who's there?" he demanded, his voice sharper than I'd ever heard it. I stepped back, but my foot caught on a loose board, sending a crash echoing through the mill. Jordan's eyes locked onto mine, glowing faintly in the candlelight. "You shouldn't be here," he said, his voice low and dangerous. "What are you doing, Jordan?" I asked, my voice shaking. He hesitated, then sighed. "You don't understand. This is the only way." "The only way for what?" "To stay on top," he said simply. Act 3. The Truth. Jordan explained, or rather, confessed. He wasn't just talented, he was cursed. Decades ago, his family had made a deal with something ancient. Something that demanded sacrifices in exchange for power and success. The curse had skipped generations, but it landed squarely on him. "To keep winning," he said, "I have to feed it. It doesn't take much. Just their energy, their potential." Kevin will wake up tomorrow with no memory of this, but his athletic career? Over. I stared at him, horrified. "You're stealing their futures?" Jordan's face hardened. "Do you think it's easy? You think I want this? Every time, it takes a piece of me too. But without it, I'm nothing." A sudden crash interrupted us. The circle of symbols flickered, and the air grew colder. Jordan turned pale. "You've broken the ritual!" he yelled at me. The candles went out, plunging the room into darkness. Then came the sound of something moving, something big. It slithered, its guttural growls reverberating through the mill. Jordan grabbed my arm. "Run!" We bolted for the exit, but whatever he'd been summoning wasn't done. A shape loomed in the shadows, impossibly tall, with glowing eyes that burned like fire. Jordan pushed me forward. "Go!" I made it outside, and turned back, just in time to see the mill collapse in on itself, swallowing Jordan and the creature in a deafening roar. Kevin Turner was found the next day, wandering near the woods. He couldn't remember anything, but his football career was over, his speed and strength mysteriously gone. As for Jordan Steele, he vanished without a trace. His name became a legend, whispered in hallways and locker rooms. Some said he moved away, others that he was still out there, waiting for the curse to return. But I knew the truth. Jordan didn't leave. He gave himself up to stop the curse, sacrificing everything. Sometimes, when I pass the woods at night, I swear I see a faint glow coming from the ruins of the mill, and I can't help but wonder, was Jordan the hero or the villain of his own story?
Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this short story.